Vanakkam. One of the things that I crave for the most living outside Tamil Nadu is a nice Chettinad gravy, which I usually love to enjoy with my Dosa or Parotta. Welcome to Roaming Kitchen. Every roaming has a story, and today's story is about one of my interpretations of a Chettinad dish. Now, as a performing musician, whenever I travel to any part of Tamil Nadu for a show, the first thing I do before I go home or go to a hotel is stop by at the nearest or first Chettinad joint that I see and enjoy a nice plate of Parotta or Kal Dosa with a lovely Chettinad gravy. And after trying to make the same at home, after trying to understand many recipes on the internet and also many people from the Chettinad area of Tamil Nadu, I have come with my own interpretation. I have come up with my own interpretation of a Chettinad gravy, and I like to call it Kaalaan Chettinad, which means mushroom Chettinad. Now let's run through the ingredients that we need. We need chopped onions, tomatoes, of course mushrooms or kaalaan, salt, turmeric powder, red chilli powder, small onions or shallots, curry leaves, these are nice homegrown fresh curry leaves, coconut which has been grated, black pepper, star anise, coriander seeds, cloves, fennel seeds, cinnamon, cumin seeds, red chili, that's it, that's about it, and some lime. Considering the times we live in right now, where most of us don't step out most of the time and get all the work done at home, one of the things that came to my mind immediately was that Chettinad preparation uses the black pepper very liberally, which is actually very good for your lungs, and of course, to keep a lovely and great immunity, you need good protein source. And I think mushroom has good amount of proteins, and if you are in the mood for a very flavorful dish during this lockdown, you could definitely consider this recipe. Anyway, starting off with the marination of the mushroom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some salt, we're going to add some nice red chili powder, alright, then I'm going to squeeze some fresh lime, and once you're done with that, give it a nice mix. Now this marination is not really important for mushrooms. Definitely it gives it a nice flavor, but if you wish to try this recipe using some meat, this is a good procedure that you can follow. You could also add some ginger garlic paste in there. Now heat the pan, and I'm going to dry roast all these spices that I'm taking: jeera, fennel seeds, cloves, black pepper, coriander, star anise, cinnamon, and red chilies, dry red chilies. Dry roast them well. You can hear the seeds start to pop. Now is a good time to add the freshly grated coconut and continue to dry roast until the coconut changes color. Mix all of them nicely and dry roast them evenly. You can see how well the color has changed. Now it's time to put them in a mixer and make a nice coarse powder. That's a very aromatic mix of spices that we just dry roasted. We are now going to mix them in the mixie. That's the coarse powder I was talking about. To a heated pan, we add some gingerly oil. I think that's the best oil to use for this dish. While this suggestion of gingerly oil is to get a nice authentic taste, but you may use any oil of your choice. Now to this oil, I'm going to add some mustard. The next thing I'd like you to add some nice fresh curry leaves, and the ones that I'm using are small, but these are lovely and these are homegrown. To this we add some shallots and regular onions as well. Give that a nice stir until the onions and shallots turn translucent. Once this color is achieved, you can add in the ginger garlic paste. Once the raw smell of ginger garlic paste fades away, add a very little amount of water. Give it a nice mix and close it for about 10 seconds. And once that's done, it's a good time to bring in the tomatoes and continue to stir this until the tomatoes become mushy. You can see that a lot of water has been released by the tomatoes and onions. Now is a good time to add these mushrooms that we had marinated some time back, and make sure you give them a nice mix. Be gentle on the mushrooms, they might break. Just give it a nice gentle mix to make sure they are all evenly mixed. After we've done that step, we add the lovely coarse powder that we ground some time back. The aroma is just out of the world. Now you need to make sure that all these things get a nice mix. Mix them evenly, and a reminder again, be very gentle on the mushrooms. Now once you've mixed the powder well, start adding in water step by step, because the idea is to get a slightly thick gravy and not a very loose one. Now you can see how much water I've added. That's how thick I want it. If you want it thicker, you could add lesser water. Now like you can see, I'm adding the required amount of salt. That's completely your choice. And once you're done with that, give it your final mix. You can see the beautiful color that has come about. Now the final step is to close this and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. You can see how nicely the gravy is bubbling. You need to try this for yourself and get shocked from the aroma that you will experience. And that's the final procedure. The oil has separated very well and your dish is good to go. You give it one last stir before you want to serve it for yourself. Time to enjoy the Kaalaan Chettinad with skull dosa as well as regular dosa. You could also enjoy with Parotta. Look at how beautiful this gravy looks. Some nice curry leaves again to give it the nice fragrance. There you can see. Look at the texture of the gravy. Like I always tell you, every roaming has a story, and today's story was about my interpretation of the famous Chettinad gravy. I call this the Kaalaan mushroom. Kaalaan, once again, just means mushroom, and this is Kaalaan Chettinad.